The impact of poor leadership behaviour is huge to every business, big and small.
There's managers who manage people and there's managers who manage projects, and there's a complete separation between the two. And I've had managers who are project managers, and therefore managing the people is just not within their capability actually.
I always think a manager should be kind of soaking up the pressure and rather than just applying it to the people that are working for him. And this guy was the complete opposite really. Just put pressure on the people and not take responsibility for the actions in his department.
It was very much as if she was concentrating on her own workload and micromanaging her skills as opposed to being a manager with a team. It was very much like, I can't deal with anything else because I've got enough on my plate at the moment, therefore I can't tell you what to do. And in that particular organisation, we didn't have the power to be able to determine our own workload.
It was definitely how they made you feel, in that it was one of my first jobs as a manager, so reporting to someone. It wasn't clear ever what they wanted you to do. People definitely didn't want to take on responsibility. If they were going to report to this person, some people would actually go, nah, not for me.
She will try her best to compliment those of us that are working with her, but it's always double-handed. So, for example, a team meeting, she would make comments about us around the table, so how you, John, how you know, and make comments about the work that they've done, but then again follow it back up with, I taught him everything he knows. It
was a big global company, and there is pressure at work, but I still think the manager's got a responsibility there to kind of soak up the pressure, ask the right questions and make sure that people are doing their jobs and allowed to do the jobs.
The environment that I was working in, it was heavy, you know, and it just was on your shoulders. It was an awful place to work, and because the rest of us on the team all felt the same, that then becomes its own little monster, doesn't it? Because everybody breeds off the negativity of the others around them, and there's one person that can make a difference to it.
Natural reaction is, I'm getting it, so you're getting it as well. Others thinking, I actually get a bit of a kick out of this. This is the way I manage people, and if they can't cope, that's their problem, not mine.
I had no enthusiasm for the role at all. I was just getting up in the morning and I thought, okay, what have I got to do today? I don't even know. I'm one of those people who I like to have an action plan in place and know what I'm able to do, but because that business was so all over the place, it's just you struggle to get enthusiasm for anything because the people above you weren't enthusiastic at the same time. Oh,
miserable. You know that it doesn't matter how much work you put in, you're not going to get credit for it. So I think it stops you performing at your best.
It's not pleasant in the working environment to see people suffering, you know, feeling ill, impact on the family, feeling stressed out, almost for someone else's gratification, or that they can't cope with their pressure and they just put it onto other people. So yeah, I've had sleepless nights many a time, but I do know that people that have seriously been impacted, and that can't make you feel good. And I don't see what's in it for the person that's that stress carrier.
I had confidence thinking that I had certain skill sets, but being there made me question that and think, well, actually, if I got out, who else would have me? And have I got enough experience to be able to go somewhere else now? And am I trapped? And funnily enough, colleagues and friends that I had in that business are still there and still trapped. And I see them regularly and tell them, you know, now that I'm in a different job, how much better it can be.
We made noise, we made comments. In fact, I held a session where we talked about it with her included, but there was no change.
I kind of got it sorted quite quickly on. There was a strange kind of management system within there where I had other managers as well as this guy. So I approached him because I had a better relationship with him, and we kind of worked out a way how I could get through this.
You did all your work, I felt, in spite of, not because of.
I had to stop myself from just moving for the sake of it, because you could then put yourself in another position where you're unhappy. So, although unhappy, I was looking for a move elsewhere.
Sometimes you kind of, the peer pressure is, I behave like this in this environment because, but other people, the best people that I've seen, can switch it or can challenge it and say, look, irrespective of what the norm is, that's not how I treat people.
A good manager is definitely somebody who has passion for what they do, and that's really contagious. And I think if you're working with somebody who's passionate about what they're doing, you're going to catch on to that and you're going to share that same enthusiasm.
People are different, people are complex. People behave in different ways depending on which buttons you press. But anybody can drive someone into the ground if they want to. I just don't understand why people do that.
Most leaders never see the real impact of poor leadership behaviours. How do you support the leaders in your business today? If you already invest in training, how do you know it's being used practically in the workplace? What would your people say about the leaders in your business? What are you prepared to do about it?